if anything, the one regret I have about Smart Guys is that it always ended on the premise that it was going to continue, because it was supposed to continue with myself and my friend John Rambo. It was supposed to just continue as a remote thing where he called in and we did a remote version of it over the internet. And he told me for the longest time, yes, don't worry, we are going to still do the show. You know, it's just going to take a while. I'm busy with my own personal stuff.
Basically, you know, please count me out for a while. I'm looking to move. I'm trying to get money together to move. And I said, I'm around most nights. Please call me. Okay?
And it always was another excuse, until, of course, eventually I found out he was lying the whole time. He actually didn't want to do the show.
And I had every intention and desire to do stuff with him at this point.
And apparently it was never going to happen. I wish he had just told me instead of lying to me for a year and a half about it.
He has never actually called me to this day, which is 15 months later, maybe 13 months. He's never actually called. And in this video he said, I'm going to call him. He's never actually called me.
Yeah, and by the way, I should say this too. Maybe I should have seen the signs that maybe John didn't really care as much about the stuff we were doing as I did, because Smart Guys, he liked watching wrestling, but by the time that we were doing it for like a while, he started complaining about it and was like, man, I'm just going to come and you tell me the results and I'll just tell you what I think about the results. So he basically stopped watching the shows and would just listen to me reading the results and would just react during the show. He wasn't even watching the wrestling anymore.
Let's bring up that. So WWE Smart Guys, man, people often ask him, like, are you doing Smart Guys? And they'll just throw me under the bus. Like, it's up to John. It's 100% on him if we'll do it. I got some text from him from last summer where he's basically like, let me know when you want to do Smart Guys so I'll start watching wrestling again. So what that says to me is, like, you're not really a fan of it. You don't really watch it. You will watch it if you could make a video about it, and you're going to make a video about it because you want to monetize a video. So it's just really weird, you know, like I'll start watching when you let me know that we're going to do the show. Otherwise, I'm not going to fucking look at it, you know.
You know, so maybe that should have been an indication that he didn't really care about that stuff anymore anyway, and he basically didn't want to do it. But I was basically taking his word for it. And he kept saying he wanted to do it and whatever. I honestly now, you know, years later, I think about it and I'm like, he probably was just still doing it for the money because he knew that I was paying him every show that he was on. I was paying him to be on the show. But he probably didn't like it and didn't want to do it anymore, but didn't want to not get paid.
So if you really do the math, with gas and food and wear and tear in your car, you know, $100 every time you come, you're not exactly profiting there. And including not going to or working at a job which will actually make you more money than this, you know.
When he was filming with me, he always got paid. The way we used to do it is I actually used to get reports from Machinima. Based on viewership, it would tell you how much money you made on a video. He would get paid 50% of everything. That's how I did it. I said that was the only fair way. Give him half. But
the problem is, info that's been presented to you is not exactly true. So it's something that he says quite often. John got 50%, you got half of everything that we made together, or videos I was in with him, right? It's not exactly the truth, okay? So he starts doing YouTube stuff in 2008. I start doing videos with him. We've been hanging out for a couple years before that playing games, so just kind of transition into now we're going to be playing games but recording games, you know? And I did this stuff from 2008 when he started YouTube. I did this for probably a couple years for nothing. He signs on with Machinima a few years later. And I had to come to him and ask, because we're still doing videos. I said, since you're getting something for this, do you feel that I should get a percentage of that for my efforts on here, right? Mm-hmm. So we make an agreement, which will be basically half of the month's co-op income. So what happens is he takes out taxes from that amount and cuts it in half, right? And I get half of that. But for instance, like if it's March, and we do videos in March, I will get a percentage of what was made in March. That does not include residuals like for months coming up. Like for instance, if those videos make more money in April or June and July, okay? Like that doesn't include that. So whatever was made in April for that month, that's what I would get. It does not include streams or whatever other money comes in, right?
Yeah.
This went on for a little while. Again, not exactly 50% if you throw that out there, but this goes on for a little while. Then he says to me, Machinima isn't sending me reports anymore, so I have no idea I have no idea the amount of money that we're making on the co-op. I have no way of figuring it out. So I can no longer figure out this percentage that we agreed on. So I basically just go, okay, listen, throw me $100 every time I come down.
Even though I was filming, I was editing, I was uploading, I gave him half. Because I was trying to be nice. I was so appreciative that this friend of mine would come and share his expertise and his time and all that with me, that I wanted to make sure that this guy was trying to make out. And I knew that what he was getting paid wasn't enough to make a living. I knew that sadly he had to have another job outside of what we were doing, and I felt bad for that because I really wanted him to be able to kind of be as successful as I was with his own stuff, which it never was.
But if you want to shit on me and if you and say like your views are shit or whatever you want to say, man, my channel is me having fun with my friends. I don't put ads on my stuff because I don't have to. I don't ask the audience for anything except to hopefully have a good time, and I have a great time doing what I do. So please, again, tell me that I'm not successful.
What's done is done. People who decided to backstab me did, and that's life, I guess, right? You move on. It's been a long time now. It's been 4 years, and I really don't think about it that much anymore. But every once in a while, you guys ask, and it comes up again. So
people jam you with stuff, and they prod you and prod you and prod you to try to get a response out of it. And he fell right into the shenanigans.
Trippy Pimply cheered. He said maybe he enjoyed spending time with you. I mean, maybe he did. I would hope he did. I would hope that simply he didn't just come and spend almost every single weekend with me just for money. Seriously. Like, I genuinely enjoyed all the time that I spent with Rambo. I did. Like, it was so much fun. And that's why I seriously am so fucking blindsided that this guy, after all those years of doing that stuff with me, comes out and is like, oh, Phil was just in it for the money, and he never was a good friend and all that. And I'm like...
Especially like every interaction has to eventually do with videos and stuff, man. He talked about the Thanksgiving video. He talks about, like, we were talking about shows and stuff. It'll be a message like, hey, you're watching Gotham. And I'll be like, yeah, it's pretty decent. And then it'll just immediately turn into, yeah, let's record this weekend. It's like, what are you thinking, man?
I felt the complete opposite. Like, I thought the time we had was great. I thought that we had a lot of time, special, friend time together. And, I thought that we were close and everything. And apparently he thought complete opposite.
The other thing is there's a lot of history. There's a lot of good times, man. There's a lot of really good times.
So it's just funny how people can have completely disagreeing viewpoints on this when they're in the same fucking building doing the same thing. I don't know. That's just me, though. That's just my take. That's all it ever will be, is my take. He'll always have his point of view and his opinion. I'll always have my point of view and my opinion. It's just, I am very sad the way that it ended, the way that it did, because it was his choice to do that, not mine.
To Phil, instead of making a monetized response video, do what you said you were going to do back in August 2014. Give me an actual call. Give me the call that you promised that you were going to do. Give the call. I'll be happy to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about.
And like I said, one of my biggest regrets is that I was never able to do a send-off show for the stuff that we were doing.
It immediately goes right into the videos. Videos. Are we going to make the videos? Let's do some videos. I need to tell people when we're making the videos. Let's do some videos.
There was no grand finale content with him and me. There was no grand finale of Smart Guys.
Do you value money more than our friendship? Because if that's the case, then why am I even here?
And that's not, honestly, that's not fair to the viewers who were there from 2010 through 2014, 4 fucking years that people watched all our shit, and then just to say, oh, it's all over because
one person makes money off the back of everybody else.
Behind the scenes disagreements that we didn't even talk about publicly.
Go right to his channel, and I see that Phil did not actually call me. He instead made a video, a monetized video, by the way.
Epic Rage $50 says it's not too late to befriend each other. Anything's possible and life's too short to hold grudges. Yeah, but the thing is, he did hold a grudge.
I don't know about you. I'm not angry with the guy. We've said before publicly, like, we wish him the best, don't wish him any ill. I hope he, makes a ton of cash and has a great life, man.
That's the point. I didn't hold a grudge against him. He's the one who didn't respond to me, cut off contact with me.
Give me the call.
Give both of us the call.
Okay, sure.
Then made a video saying that I was basically a bad person and that he was really upset about things that I had done over the years. So the ball would be in his court to contact me and say, okay, listen, I kind of burned the bridge 4 years ago. I'm sorry, and, let's talk, let's be friends again.
Because being a man, if you're talking about being a man, I feel like being a man is you make choices and then you deal with the consequences. You don't run to complain online or cry about what the world owes you all these things. You deal with what you got to deal with, man.
That would be in his court. Now, I never ended the friendship. He did. So it's up to him to start things up again, not me.
I think we probably didn't even have to do this.
Yeah.
Because when someone says, like, it's 100% on their side, I did nothing wrong. Like, no one believes that.
You know what I mean? Like, everything, it's hilarious. How can you make a video saying, well, I never responded to Phil and his texts or anything, but now I expect him to call me. It's like, wait a minute. I was texting you for 6 months, and after a while you just stopped responding to anything that I had to say. Now you want me to call you, but you stopped responding to me. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
But why does he contact you? It's not because he wants to see how you're doing. It's to do playthroughs so he can make money.
It's like this. He was like so hung up about texting or something. Like, what's the difference between texting or a phone call?
And this is what I mean. There's no conversation.
Right? It's the modern fucking era. People text all the time. I had to tell you, I didn't call my wife either. The whole time that, before she lived with me, I was texting her. I wasn't calling her on the fucking phone. We texted all the time. So I don't understand what his gripe was. I really don't. I don't get to this day. I don't understand what his big holdup. I really feel that there was, like, underlying pent-up issues that he doesn't want to talk about. And because of that, like, maybe he feels like when I moved away from Connecticut, I abandoned him.
And, okay, let's get into this. So, no, I'm not upset that he moved, okay? And I'm angry or jealous or something, or I got left behind or something like that. If someone's moving... By the way, I've said this to him. I've said this publicly on the show. Right before he moved, he was on the show with me. If someone is moving or making a change in their life because they feel it will improve their life, I support that 100%. Just like I've always supported him 100%.
Because I was someone who I was always doing stuff with him, and it was a way for him to have a job or make money or whatever. And when I moved, that was it. That was like, basically, he was like unemployed. You know what I mean? Not to say he didn't have another job. He did, but... it never, admittedly, it never was a discussion where it was like, well, I wouldn't move out of Connecticut because Rambo was doing co-op with me every week and making money doing it. That was never a point of discussion at all. He never even brought it up. Maybe that was part of it. I have no idea. All I know is what he said in a video, which to me, watching that video, it doesn't make any sense because the stuff he's saying was never explained to me, never portrayed to me in any way, shape, or form.
Because he wants to say that no one ever expressed any problems, or I don't ever heard of any problems of John having with me. So I sent him a text to say, I caught wind that you're saying very private things. By the way, not true things, lies about me in one of your streams.
And from our own personal experiences, from my side, it makes no sense. How can you say that I was not contacting you when I was? You were ignoring me. He was ignoring me for 6 months. He was barely ever responding, if he even responded. And then come to find, I really feel that every time he texted me, it was just about filming something. That actually wasn't the case. But when you don't respond to my text, how would you ever know?
The following week, I get more messages. They mostly are like, how are you doing? And then as soon as you say good, then immediately goes right into the videos.
You see what I mean? He stopped responding to me, so how would he even know what I wanted to talk about when he never fucking bothered to even respond to me? So... it just seems to me that for him, he had this mindset or this idea in his mind, and he got so fed up that he wanted to completely and definitively say, end it.
Give the call. I'll be happy to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about.
There's too much stress associated with it. There's too many people constantly pestering me on the internet about when will I be in a video with Phil? What's going on with you and Phil? So he decided to make that video because that would end. That cut it off. And since then, no one's bothering him about me. No one's pestering him about me. And everyone knows now that he wants nothing to do with me. And he was basically freed of that online kind of harassment and constant Phil.
People really want to know why we don't do anything with him anymore. And he himself oddly is saying that he wants to know why. But that video that he put out, I think, is a perfect example of why.
I really feel that's why he did that. And that's why, again, if he actually had wanted to be friends, he would have responded to one of those texts, or after the video and after hearing how negatively it hurt me.
He makes me feel like shit.
He would have reached out and said something. He hasn't in 4 years. He doesn't give a fuck. If he did, he would have reached out to me. My contact information is exactly the same, hasn't changed. He could have easily reached out to me at one time during the last 4 years, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my scapegoat that I could get out of the situation.
I'm the public persona, not him. I'm the one who's easy to reach, not him.
Yeah,
I'll blame it on John.
I'm going to blame it on John.
That big nose piece of shit.
Shrimpy Pimply cheered. And he said maybe he had his own problems. No, and you're right. You're absolutely really right. Maybe Rambo has his own life, has his own problems, has his own shit going on. That's perfectly fine. So tell me.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because like anytime there is a problem, I always do address it right to his face.
Yeah. So
which is not being said now.
Right? Tell me what's going on. Don't have pent-up resentment behind the scenes and then blow up in a video publicly when you literally ignored me for 6 months instead of telling me that there was a problem, you know?
So at this point, I'm really pissed off. So I call him immediately, and I fucking have it out with him, dude. I tell him everything I'm feeling about it, and I'm pissed off. To his credit, he apologizes profusely, says to me that he felt insecure, or he is insecure. He shouldn't have said it. He just got really frustrated with what they were saying, and he just couldn't take it anymore, and he had to say something, and he exploded.
Again, I said this back then, I'll say it again. A real person who has responsibility, who has respect, who acts like a true responsible adult, a man per se, rather than someone who's a coward, who hides, who has pent-up resentment, passive-aggressive behaviors. A real person will upfront tell you when there's a problem.
And again, I bring this up to his attention because he wants to talk about how, you're supposed to say things that you feel if you're a man and whatnot. So as I've already given you several examples, here's another one. And I tell him what's up. He apologizes, just like the several times before that. And it starts to click, if someone just keeps saying sorry when they do something, they're not really apologizing, right? If apologizing isn't just words, it's I will not do this thing again because I feel bad about it. If you keep doing the thing, it's not actually an apology.
They won't hold it behind closed doors, secretly pretend like it doesn't exist, and then all of a sudden blow it up in your face to make you look bad.
Exaggerating things, putting words in my mouth, whatnot.
That's not what someone who actually cares does. And quite frankly, when that video was made, it really changed my perception of John and Howard, because I had always thought that those guys were upfront, honest guys, and basically let me see that they weren't.
It's dirty business, man.
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
It's terrible, man. Terrible.
Yeah,
that they were basically kind of cowardly and didn't ever want to say shit up front to me, honestly, that they were afraid of how I would react or something, which is preposterous. It's not like I ever reacted to them in a way that was mean or angry. It's not like I had any power over those guys, that if I didn't, oh my God, I'm angry because they said something, that I did something wrong, now I'm going to blow up on them on the internet. I never would have done that.
He just got really frustrated with what they were saying, and he just couldn't take it anymore, and he had to say something, and he exploded.
And the other thing is, over the years, and they knew this, I always said, one of the most important things for me is trust. One of the most important things is honesty and trust and being upfront.
How do you trust it, man?
Yeah.
How do you trust this isn't going to become something that's I got to talk about in a video now?
I would rather you insult me to my face than you hold pent-up aggression for 3 years and then have it come up, behind my back and stab me in the back. I'd rather have you just insult me to my face, because then we can figure out why you have this negative feeling towards me, and we can figure it out together and get past it. If I don't know about it, I can't get past it.
And his whole thing will be to retort to you. His response will be that, oh, you should have told me that you feel it, but you did. It's back to the apology thing. You could tell someone so many times, right? And they apologize, but they keep doing the same behavior over and over. At a certain point, you realize this is who they are. They're not really apologizing. They're not really going to change.
No,
this is not how it is. And you have to make the decision, do I want this in my life or not?
And that was the whole issue there. That was the whole fucking issue there, is that here's someone who I trusted, who I had, been a close friend with, told stuff who I hadn't told anyone else, trusted him with private information and shit. And he had done the same with me. And over the years, we had done work together, but personal stuff and fun stuff together. And he literally had all these issues and never fucking told me. That's not respect. That's not how you treat a true friend. It's not, If I had issues with him, I definitely would have told him. And he apparently decided not to give me that same kind of honesty. And that's kind of fucked up, in my opinion. So
that's the thing. You shouldn't have to go to your friend consistently and bring up, why did you say this? Please give me the money you owe me. This isn't fair. It puts you in a terrible position to have to keep doing that, and it's tough.
But then it gets to a point where you just get irritated because the guy don't give a shit about you or anyone else. That's what's irritating the most, man.
Your take on the situation, you're the one that seems to not want to be friends with him because he doesn't talk about it anymore. Dude, what do you not understand? What do you not understand? What the shit? Uzi Gohard, it sounds to me like you're a fan of John and you just don't want to listen to reason. Like, I don't know how much more of an honest, matter-of-fact presentation I could tell you about the situation. You know, I would have wanted to be his friend. You know what I mean? Here's the truth of the matter. This is the outright truth of the matter of today is this.
I want to talk about this. He'll often say, I'm the realist. I'm the most, here's honestly this. Here's the truth of the matter. When people do that, they're usually doing it for a reason. It's usually because they're not telling the truth. If every time you spoke and you go, here's the honest truth of it. Let me be honest with you for a second. I'm the most honest. I'm the realist. That's a warning sign.
Yeah, big one.
Because why you feel the need to say that?
The truth of the matter is, it's been over 4 years, guys.
He doesn't know how to let go of things.
Over 4 years, all right? Since I said a word to either Rambo or Howard, and since they said a word to me. The last interaction we possibly had was when they did that nasty video about me, and that was it. That was the burned bridge. That was them telling me, we really don't want anything to do with you. Even though they with their very fake faces in the video, say, oh, we would like to still have a connection with Phil. The phone lines are open.
And you kind of you'll piss on a lot of that stuff by doing this.
The phone lines have been open. I've been texting you for 6 fucking months and you never responded. So it's not that all of a sudden magically the phone lines are open. It's that you didn't respond to me. It's basically facetious. It's them saying one thing and meaning another. They want to look like the positive guys who never had anything wrong.
It's another thing that's sad about it is no one listens to this kind of stuff and then or listens to like him talk about us or us talk about him and then goes, oh, these guys are fucking cool. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
It's disgusting stuff. It's sad. It's not, you're not creating content. It's freaking garbage content for the bottom of the barrel, man. And that's what it is.
Okay. They do. They want to look like they were always in the right and they did nothing wrong and I was the villain. Because that gives them the way out. That gives them the way to say, we're out of this relationship. We don't want people pestering us about Phil anymore. We don't want to be in his content anymore. And if we do this one end-all be-all video that basically makes Phil look like shit, at his expense, by the way, because we don't care how this negatively affects him positively or positively or negatively or publicly, because we just want to get out. And that's essentially what it was. They didn't give a fuck about how it would negatively affect me. They just said, we'll just do this so we can help ourselves and screw over Phil. And that's exactly what happened.
Until this point, we've not said anything against him because, like I said, I wish him the best. I don't want to hurt him. And saying anything negative about him, I feel could hurt his livelihood.
For everyone talk shit about me, everyone hated me, people quit watching me and stuff because they just wanted to believe what those two had to say instead of actually believing my side of this take, which, by the way, I didn't really talk about for the longest time because I was so hurt by what they had done that I didn't even want to really talk about it anymore. You know, but the truth of the matter is it's bullshit. It was the whole thing, the way it was done was set up to make me look bad. I don't appreciate it. And after 4 years, if any of them had a shred of decency in them, where they actually felt like, oh shit, maybe this was kind of a messed up thing to do the way we did it. Maybe we should have just contacted Phil. They would have contacted me by now.
So you know what I say? Fuck it, I ain't giving you shit.
They didn't. So after 4 years, no, I don't have any desire to freaking talk to them or be their friends again. Why would I? It's been 4 fucking years. We could be totally different people. I can tell you right now, I'm a completely different person now than when I moved out of Washington. You know what I mean? Like, I have matured up. I have grown up. I've changed the content I put out. I'm not the same kind of person. You know, I'm married now. My life is much better. I'm in a much better place.
If you had millions of dollars right now, but you had no one around you, you had no family or friends, but you had all the money, what is that a good life?
I'm a much better person than I was 4.5 years ago when I left Connecticut. Actually, I take it back. 5.5 years ago. Holy shit.
This timeline is completely fucked.
I left Connecticut in the mid 2014. It's been 5.5 years. My life is completely different. You know, everything about me is different. So, you know, I'm sure they've moved on with their lives as well. And why are you going to go back for something that's we've been apart now for fucking 4 or 5 years? To them, they probably never give me a thought. Seriously, they probably moved on. They've got, you know, families, kids, etc. They probably never give me a thought. To them, I was just a blip on the radar in their life, and now I'm a part of their past that they wrote off, and they could just move on. For me, every day I still think about the awesome times I had with those guys, and how sad it is that, you know, that fell apart, and they chose to have it fall apart because I have an online persona. every day people still talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, those guys don't get bothered by that shit anymore. They don't have online personas where they're constantly talking with people. I'm the one who has to live down all the repercussions of their actions to do with it what they did and handle it the way that they did. They didn't think about that. They don't have to think about that. To them, it was just, fuck it. Move on and fuck Phil, right? But I'm the one who's left with the pile of shit.
Gugats. That's what they got.
For the rest of my life. People will still be asking me about what happened to those guys. How did that fall apart? How do you feel? Blah, blah, blah. You know? So it's completely one-sided. It's completely unfair and messed up. And that's just the situation.
You have no respect for people that are alive, that for fucking people that are dead. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
So there you go.